All right, welcome back. My name is Michael Rasmussen, and I am the founder of United Atlantic Legal Services, a boutique law firm focused exclusively on investment advisors. Today, we are going to be talking about who needs to register as an investment advisor. So, we're going to start off by talking about the Investment Advisors Act of 1940, a little bit of an overview. Then, we're going to talk more specifically about who needs to register as an investment advisor under that act. And then we're going to wrap up with some final thoughts on the issue. So to begin with, the Investment Advisors Act as an overview, it is the regulatory scheme work in which at a federal level, investment advisors are regulated in the United States. In a later episode, we're going to be talking about the difference between SEC register or federal registration versus state registration. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to be sticking with the federal level of things, and that includes the Investment Advisors Act of 1940, which, as in a previous video I talked about, was one in a series of acts that came out as a repercussions from the Great Depression and the stock market crash of 1929. Specifically, we had the Securities Act of 1933, the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934, and the Investment Companies Act of 1940, along with the Investment Advisors Act of 1940. Specifically, the Investment Advisors Act is focused on those individuals in the financial services space that provide investment advice to clients. And when we talk about providing investment advice, that means making recommendations to clients about where they should invest or sell securities. So who needs to register as an investment advisor? There are specific acts that constitute what is an investment advisor, and we covered that in the last video. But here, once you have established that you meet the definition of an investment advisor, the following need to be registered with the SEC. So if we begin by looking at the asset threshold registration requirement with the SEC, you're actually prohibited from registering with the SEC until you meet one of these definitions, or you meet one of these levels or thresholds. If you do not meet these thresholds, you are required to register on a state level, and then we look at each individual states in which you reside and go through that analysis. But in order to register with the SEC, which is typically considered a cleaner process and a more standardized type process, you have to meet certain thresholds. So within the first few months of doing business, will your firm meet the $110 million threshold? Right? If you're going to be doing business and have an assets under management of 110 million or greater, you can register with the SEC. Alternatively, if you're a state registered investment advisor who later exceeds that threshold, then you're allowed to, again, register with the SEC. So there's an asset threshold. Investment advisors to investment companies automatically get the ability to register with the SEC. And then there's certain types of hedge fund and private fund advisors that get to also register with the SEC. So it really depends on the type of business that you're doing and the amount of assets that you are managing. Let's keep going. If you get registered as an investment advisor, what does that mean and what happens? So number one is this fiduciary duty. The fiduciary obligations owed by investment advisors to their clients are wide and varying. Really, it comes down to, are you acting in the best interest of your client? And when we talk about acting in the best interest of the client, do you understand who your client is, what their needs and their financial goals and objectives are, and their risk tolerance, that type of thing? And are you tailoring your investment advice to meet the needs of that client? Additionally, are you making disclosures to that client about any types of conflicts of interest you might have? So for example, if you were also affiliated with a broker dealer and you were selling product on that side, and then you were advising clients to buy or sell product through that broker dealer, are you clearly disclosing that there's compensation on both sides of that? The other couple notes here is that I want to highlight it is when we're talking about the idea of what an investment advisor is, are you holding yourself out as an investment advisor? Are you engaged in that business? If you're not actually holding yourself out, or you're not engaged and you're not receiving compensation, for example, you may not meet the definition of an investment advisor, and therefore you may not need to register as an investment advisor. So in conclusion, just to sum this up, investment advisor registration is, again, at a state or at an SEC level. And it really depends on the type of business and the amount of assets that you are managing, which makes the determination of where you end up registering, right? So take a look at that. Also, make sure you go back to our previous video and take a look at the definition of what an investment advisor is, see whether or not you're actually meeting that definition, and go through that process. If you need any help about determining whether or not you need to register as an investment advisor, please do let me know. Again, my name is Michael Rasmussen, and I am the founder of United Atlantic Legal Services, a law firm focused exclusively on investment advisors. You see our website address there, unitedatlanticls.com. Please visit our website and schedule a free consultation. Until next time, thank you.